Honorable Minister, Mr. Joel Ram, our Ambassador, Harold Sandberg, Dr. Arun Gupta, and my dear friend and old colleague, Arun Pandaji. You might be feeling all of us, most of us, belonging to Orissa, occupied the dais here. Friends, I feel privileged and honored to be in the company of all of you, among whom are a galaxy of dedicated and tireless men and women who have worked for the last 25 glorious years in protection, promotion, and practice of breastfeeding, which is a boon to the newborn children of both rich and poor against inappropriate feeding practices leading to infant malnutrition, morbidity, and also death in children. Your Jubilee celebration has a golden hue for me. I have interacted with some of the promoters yesterday and day before yesterday, and I feel very happy to be in your company. Your achievement in persuading Parliament to pass IMS Act, encouraging breastfeeding up to 2 years, prohibiting all forms of advertisement and promotion of baby foods and bottles for children under the age of 2 years is a landmark of great importance in the history of India. Being 86 years now, I was not beneficiary of your great feat by my family's incapacity to take care of me fully because of poverty as a child. Mother's milk became an elixir for me beyond 2 years. Because hungry, I was not only being fed, I have been satisfied. Even hunger was cured by my mother beyond 2 years. That probably is the reason why I had fairly good health, and its reflections in my studies and sports and extracurricular activities. I did not become a burden on the society, even being poor, because of my mother's milk. One interesting thing I would like to share with you. In 1975, I was working as field director Oxfam in India. And Oxfam is well-known international charity which works in about 80 countries around the world. I was invited there to talk to British citizens who have been raising donations for our charitable activity in India. And that time, as I entered Oxfam office, I found a big board there in our health unit that read, "Breast is best." What is breast is best? I couldn't follow. I inquired from the officer in charge of the unit and said, "What is it?" "No, breastfeeding is best for the children." Oh my goodness, this is a discovery I am making in India after coming all the way from India. My mother fed me with milk. My grandfather must have been also survived on breast milk. And this is a new discovery for me, to be much more grateful and closer to my mother than earlier, by thinking, my goodness, she has also been the first educated to me in breast being the best for the children amongst the poor and also not so poor people. My unexplainable love for my mother and emotional bond may be due to my longer period of suckling and pressing me against her breast intermittently. That must have been the reason for that love bondage between me and my mother, that you don't get with bottled feed or mere feeding for health reasons. Friends, I have one interesting experience to share with you. That is, when I went to a tribal area, I was associated with the tribals in the entire state, almost all the 30 districts of Orissa I had visited, and was born amongst the tribals, brought up with them, and therefore I know. When I went straight in a place called Keunjhar. Keunjhar is a tribally predominant district. There I even went. I saw a girl, while we were walking across the jungles, I saw a girl going across, and there after an hour or so, I found her coming with a little child, and just straight away going to the riverside, put the child behind, and took a small herb or something like a pressed it, and put it into her mouth and also into the child, and walked off. When I went, I asked her, what is it that you have examined? Our people would have been dead of anemia if such a thing is done to our children. She narrated me the history of child care, which even today it is rare for me to come across. Friends, that is the knowledge which indigenous knowledge which is already available with the communities which we forget. And one of the most and universally acceptable prevention of ill health or malnutrition among the children is to practice indigenous practices of food habits that we are not giving due importance. Lastly, let me share with you a little question about breastfeeding to a group of young doctors who came for a recruiting. This is true, and therefore you might enjoy. And don't take it as any vulgar statement about the knowledge of the students about breastfeeding. A question was put in an examination in recruitment to list 4 good reasons why mother's milk is preferable to cow's milk. The answers that were given were, one of the children, they said this is the first time that they are being given such question. Mother's milk is clean and fresh always. That is one good reason why mother's milk is better than cow's milk, one of the students written. The second reason, it can be taken to parks and picture houses without special arrangements. The second reason that he has quoted, mother's milk is not amenable to cats and dogs. And finally, after little pause, one student added up and has come up with a brilliant answer by telling the milk comes in cute, soft containers that children would love to play for long. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind, Jai Jagat.